let's talk about another way that we can get into a song. And in a lot of cases, we can, as I mentioned earlier, we can use these intros as the endings to tunes as well. But let's start out. If you pick any number of songs, hundreds, that are out of the Great American Songbook, there are different forms, and one of the most prevalent is what we call an AABA. It's usually like about a 32 bar long form, and if you take a song and take the last 8 bars of it to set the tune up. So let's say, for example, maybe a tune like Fly Me to the Moon, like and anyway, the last 8 bars of this song is and there we are at the intro, or there we are at letter A. So like it's not important, you know, the little riffing or improvising. You could that could start out as, you know, maybe the saxophone player, or you could maybe do a little bit of soloing on that last 8 bars as an intro, but you might want to, you know, quote the melody a little bit, and that's always a helpful thing to help people get in, you know, the audience, make the connection. So that'll work with, you know, any number of different songs, you know, Latin tunes, like say maybe for example, maybe this that's Quiet Nights of Quiet Stars, the Joe Beam tune. Actually, I think that was more like 10 bars. That one's got a couple extra bars in it, and sometimes people resolve it. But the idea is to pick it up at that point in the melody that's kind of an obvious place. Let's see, like All of Me or something like. So that was the last 8, All of Me, something like that, and I was doing kind of a just a, you know, a 2-beat kind of thing. And if you look at this sheet on one of those tunes, and you'll notice a 32 bar form, and usually letter A, the first ending and the second ending, along with sometimes they label it as letter C, but the last 8, they're essentially the same thing. And at the end of the 8, like I'm in the key of F, starting on B flat for All of Me. There's that 5 chord, a sus chord. And there's another voicing of the 5 chord, and then we're back. So look at that. And the more familiar you get with that, that's something that you can do spur of the moment. I mean, like if I'm on the stage, I can just say, take it from the last 8, and we've got an automatic instant introduction to the song. So familiarity and counting the tune off good or whatever, and making sure that everybody's with you. A one, a two, a 1, 2, 3. So something like that, and this particular thing, what happened there, I went from the F is the 1, the D is the 6th chord, and the G is the 2, and the C is the 5, and the 1 is the tonal center, or the F that we started with. That in itself is a very powerful introduction. Going from 1, in this case we'll use like an F major. D is the 5, that's a dominant chord. And then G is the 2. It can either be a minor, or if you want it to be a little funkier, you can use like a dominant 7. And then to the 6th chord, which in this case is a C. So this in itself, I'm going to create a course just about this, but if you take this groove and practice going from like an F major, you can use this as a dominant too, like a that's an automatic introduction. I'm using it kind of like in a 12/8 sort of bag. Maybe you go into Georgia on My Mind or something like that. But that could be like that's a pickup, like I started on G minor and walked up to A minor, maybe B flat major, and there's our C7 sus. So there's some more introduction ideas. Again, try to learn them in a couple of different positions on the neck. Work with one till you have a good feeling for it and it's comfortable to you, rather than trying to mess with all of them at once. This doesn't have to be something that you work your way through everything I'm talking about. Take one of these little ideas and get it under your fingers.